Have you ever wondered what would happen if you mixed Mythbusters with The Walking Dead? We are Zombie Go Boom, filmmakers and zombie survival enthusiasts. Using our scientifically accurate zombie heads, we put retail weapons, homemade weapons, and everyday objects to the test in order to see what will save you during the zombie apocalypse. Survive, protect, and kick undead ass. Hey, what's up, survivors? Welcome to another mind-blowing episode from Zombie Go Boom. I'm Chuck Murray.
I'm Charles Foltz.
And today we're going to continue to explore weapons from Kill Bill. We did something that was similar to a Kill Bill episode last time when we used a meteor hammer to annihilate a zombie. But today we're going to be continuing to explore some of the weapons. The first thing we're going to do as far as testing is concerned is we got a package in the mail from Cult of Athena. It's a Hanwei Raptor. It's a 5160 spring steel katana. And we're going to be doing a real test eventually. But right now we wanted to do a preliminary test. And we did it in a pretty funny way. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So that's something that we're going to be doing. Another weapon that we're doing today is not really a weapon. It's more of an improvised object. But it's pretty cool. What is it, Charles?
This improvised table or chair leg, it's basically 2 inches by 2 inches by 2.5 feet of pine with 3 nails stuck through the end of it. And we're going to show you guys how to make it.
That's right, so you guys will be able to make it yourselves, especially if it works. That's probably a good weapon to have in your bug-out bag as long as you figure out a way to sheath it, because spiked weapons are pretty dangerous if you just put them up somewhere and forget about them. So something to consider. Another thing that I should mention is that, no, we could not find a table leg or a chair leg that resembles the one in the movie, which is why we made it ourselves. And this actually puts another thing to rest, which is we get messages all the time from people not asking us to necessarily test a table or chair leg from Kill Bill, but to test a weapon that is basically this with some few variations, but it's always a bit of wood with nails through it. You guys have been wanting to see if that'll work for a very long time. Today is the day. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Let's do this. Alright, I gave it like literally 25% of what I had, and it cut through the frontal bone and way down past the, I was gonna say the anal cavity, but it's actually the nasal cavity. And anyway, it cut the mask in half. It was, yeah, it kind of looks like a butt. And I guess all that's left to do is a decapitation, but for a preliminary test, I'm pretty freaking happy with this. What do you think?
Yeah, it was awesome. Really nice cut.
I paid him to say that.
Yes, that was a good cut. The best I have ever seen.
I didn't pay you that much.
Look at how it's...
All right, so that's the kind of decapitation that you want as far as the traditional decapitation with the Japanese, because after they commit seppuku, you cut them like this, and then they end up holding their own heads. So just a little history lesson right there. I'm not saying I did that intentionally, but it's kind of magical that that's what happened. And then it started out with blood, now it's water. That's paying homage to Quentin Tarantino. I'll probably make this black and white, because after he used all of the blood that he could use for a rated R film, and it would have become NC-17, he basically made it black and white, and he used water, as far as I can tell. Let me know if I'm wrong or right in the comment section below. It's cold. Alright, so we're outside of the hardware store and we just got everything that we need to make this prop. We could have bought a table or a chair and then just taken the legs off of them, but then it wouldn't look, or it wouldn't have been even remotely close to the prop in the movie. The prop in the movie is just all kinds of weird. So what we decided to do is we decided to start from scratch. So we got this 2x2 and then we cut one piece to 2.5 feet. That's what we're gonna be using right here. And we're gonna be staining it a dark espresso color so that it looks just like the one in the movie. And we're gonna be using these 3.5-inch nails, 3 of them, to go on through the actual leg here. So basically it's gonna be as close as you can possibly get it to what you see in the movie. Alright, so we're about to make the build the thing.
Build the thing.
Yeah, so we have this piece of wood, again 2x2, it's pine, which is an evergreen, and yeah, we have 3.5-inch nails and Charles's first hammer.
Yes, it's almost as old as I am. So I'm just gonna drill 3 holes, and then we're gonna nail it with some wood glue on the nails, or Elmer's glue, whatever Chuck can find.
It's getting pretty ridiculous over here at CGB. But if you don't have
A
power,
drill, this works just well.
yeah.
But it does take a million years. Here we go.
Ooh. Can you hit them all at the same time? There you go. See how you triplicated your workability.
Chuck Murray. All the way. Looks like it'll do something.
It didn't split.
No.
Kind of started to.
It kind of started to, but
it's good.
it's good.
We still need to stain it.
We still need to stain it though.
And we need to put some glue on the nails. Let's do that next. After this cut. Alright, it's basically done. It just needs to be stained. So that's what we're going to do now. Charles suggested that I do it by myself because he didn't want 2 guys polishing one piece of wood. You can go in any direction, as Charles suggests. All you have to do is make sure that the stain goes into the wood, lots of it, and then you're gonna wipe the excess. Alright, so here it is, the final product. It just needs to dry and we'll be able to test it, but it looks pretty good. I really like the weight of it. I don't think the nails are gonna move too much. We're still gonna put a little bit of glue there just to make sure they're staying still. And what do you think?
I think it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, you wanna hold it?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
No.
It's not sticky or nothing.
Oh, I'm sure it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Look at your hands, bro.
What? That's nothing.
You got reverse vitiligo or something?
They call it reversaligo.
Reversaligo.
Alright, we are going to be testing this out against an actual head, so we're not just going to be hitting it in the tempo, we're going to be doing a bunch of other strikes, or Charles is. But before we do that, I found this sort of broken Ivan head, and right here The reason why it's cut is so that I could show you guys the temple, which is perfect right here. So, I know this is the wrong angle. It's not a vertical strike, it's a horizontal in the film, but I just wanted to do a preliminary test just to see what kind of damage we could do against the skull, like this. I also wanted to see if the nails would pop out, and if they don't, maybe we don't need the glue, but you ready? Okay, so obviously right now I'm getting the advantage of gravity, and a vertical strike is a lot easier than a horizontal strike, but I am striking at the same target. I'm also getting the advantage of this jaw horse pushing back. Normally I wouldn't get that advantage. So with those advantages, I was able to puncture 2 holes. One of them right here, it's hard to see, they're small holes. One of them right here, which fractured all the way across. And then the third nail did actually get pushed back. But these 2 went into the temporal bone, and they did with a lot of force. So this weapon is probably going to work. Alright, before we get started with the testing, we have Bob out here, and the reason why is because we bought some Shockwatch stickers. The problem is we can't really figure out how much brain damage is being caused to one of our Ivan heads unless the skull breaks. But you can kill a zombie, hypothetically, without the skull breaking, as long as you're able to give it enough brain damage. Now, if you're a fan of Mythbusters, you know what these are. But essentially, what they do in that show is they put a bunch of 100G rated shock watches on Buster's body and a bunch of 50G rated shock watches on Buster's head. And essentially, if the middle right there turns red on either of these, that means that the amount of G's that these are rated for was surpassed. And if you get this much, 50 G's on the head, that's a kill. 100 G's on the body, that's a kill. Obviously, that's according to Mythbusters, so you gotta believe what they say before you believe what we're saying today. Kill, overkill. Let's get started. All right. Boom. Yeah, that was like instantly red. I was watching for it. That's definitely over 50 G's of force, so that's enough brain damage to kill somebody. Now let's put 100 G's on there and see if it's an overkill. Alright, so now we have 100 G's up there. If this turns red, then it's definitely enough brain damage to kill. In fact, it's twice as much as needed.
You're next.
Nope. Damn. Let's try it again.
Try it one more time.
Okay, so again, a strike with that weapon, just bludgeoning, because that's what we're trying to figure out is the bludgeoning force, not the spiking or piercing force, is enough to do enough brain damage to kill. Probably it did between 50 and 100 G's because the 100G Shockwatch sticker just did not go off. And normally if you do close to 100 G's, you'll start seeing it turn red just a little bit. We didn't see the sticker turn red at all. Not on the sides, nowhere, which means it's probably closer to the 50G spectrum than it is to the 100 spectrum. If I were to guess, I would say it's probably around, what, 60?
Yeah.
So, is it enough to kill without the spikes? Yes, I think so, but not overkill. So we're gonna see if the spikes actually add to the damage by testing it out on an actual Ivan head. Alright, Charles, so what is the plan of attack?
Well, just like in the movie, I'm gonna make a horizontal strike to the left temple of the Go-Go Zombie.
Well, as you can see, that weapon is a little bit harder to aim than you might expect, but even still, we hit high, and yet it was able to puncture into the parietal lobe enough for us to see some blood coming down, which means that this nail, and maybe this nail, managed to make it into the cranial cavity. Now, is this a zombie kill? I don't know. I can't be for sure. I'm like 30% sure that maybe it could be, which means I'm not sure at all. Now, is it a human kill? Possibly. It will definitely knock you out. This is big time concussion hemorrhaging kind of a thing. So Go-Go would definitely be down. Would she be able to get back up? Possibly. I don't know. Other than that, you can tell that the nails came out of the weapon just a bit, even though we did put glue on them, which means that keeping the nails in the weapon is pretty much impossible unless you use some kind of gaff tape or even stronger tape around the nails in order to keep this from happening, and even then it might just still happen. What are your thoughts on this weapon?
Well, I think if we were to use screws and actually screw bits of metal, screw the screws through the wood, I think they would stay in better. I don't know how much that would help their ability to penetrate the skull, though, because of the screws.
Yeah, not only that, but screws are usually harder metal, which means they're not going to bend, they're going to snap on impact. So.
Right. Also, this weapon, it is kind of hard to aim with this thing just because it's square, not rounded like a normal handle. And I can't align my knuckles with the edge, which is what I'm used to doing, but maybe I'm just having an off day, who knows. You want me to just go ahead and pull it out?
Yeah, pull it up. Alright, and it is getting a little bit stuck.
Yeah, you see how the nails are bent and they're sticking out there.
But if you notice the head right here, there is definitely massive hemorrhaging. Our skin, even though it's green, it's still pretty translucent, and you can see that there is blood all inside of here. So, yeah, I mean, after a while, this could definitely be a human kill if you do not get attention at a hospital. If you're a zombie, again, who knows? So we're gonna try again. We're gonna hammer those back in, really try to hit that temporal bone, and hopefully recreate what happened in the movie.
Maybe if you use screws and then, filed them down to bare.
Even still, the screws are like really hard metal. Like they will snap. You see these nails bending? That's not gonna happen with this screw. Unless they're heat treated.
What if we take another piece of wood and put it on the back here
and then screw
that piece of wood behind it? But
let's do it one more time. Actually get a good shot of the temple, and once we do that, then we'll remodify it. That was it.
Just to show you how much force is not being transferred through the nails, I'm gonna push this nail back into place with my thumb. See?
Yeah, so as you can tell, the weapon is compromised beyond being able to actually function properly. Once that glue snapped, I mean, that's it. We're not having any penetration because path of least resistance, it's easier for the kinetic energy to just push the nail out than it is for the nail to actually go into the cranial cavity. So looks to me like we're gonna have to make some further modifications to this weapon in order to make it work. You want to do that?
Sure.
All right. Alright, so the biggest problem is you hit the nail comes out. So this is what we're going to do for the modification.
We've got this metal piece of a door hinge here, just one plate of a door hinge, and we found these screws and this tiny little screwdriver again. So we don't know where the drill is, so we're going to have to screw these in by hand. So I'm just going to put the plate on the back of the nails, and then hopefully after we screw this in, it'll keep those nails from coming out whenever we make contact with the skull.
Alright, we're done. So yeah, that should work. Let's try the temple again, and then we'll go crazy. Sound good?
Always sounds good.
Oh my god. First of all, it looked like Charles didn't even have to put that much power into it. Less power, more accuracy, and what you need is an accurate shot. The reason why Charles was putting so much power in it is because the nails, even if they didn't go all the way out, they were moving around. Well, this hinge seems to have kept the nails from being able to move at all, and that tiny little hit to the temple managed to get the entire nail into the cranial cavity. What do you think about that?
It was awesome. It just went right in, like he said, without any effort, really. So I think the hinge on the back was definitely a good modification.
Yeah, so could the bride grab it and hit Gogo in the temple and kill her? Yeah, it's possible, but is it probable? Not without this kind of modification. But with this kind of modification, now you're talking about a really kick-ass weapon. As long as, again, you figure out a way to sheath it, because having spikes all over the place just out is a terrible idea. I've gotten injured by spiked baseball bats and spiked clubs, just having them laying around and like reaching in to grab something and then getting spiked with one of them right there on my palm. And I need these palms for many things. So, let's go crazy. Is it easy to take out?
No, it wasn't easy to take out.
Alright, so it is getting stuck a little bit. Hopefully that won't be the case if he goes crazy, because when we see Charles going crazy, he's definitely going to have to put it in and take it out and put it in again. Let's see how easy that is. Let's make the zombie go boom. Alright, so first hit, in and out, perfect, kill, and then weapon comes out. Second hit, got a bit stuck, got a bit snagged, and then when Charles went to pull it out, the nails really got bent. So that's another thing that we see that is a negative for this weapon, is the fact that if the weapon gets stuck, or if you snag the weapon, the spikes will bend. So we're gonna pull it out. How hard is that?
Oh yeah,
Pretty stuck in there?
That was pretty stuck. Look at that.
The nails are all bent, so we're gonna bend them back and we're gonna go crazy again. And if the nails bend like this again, we're just gonna keep going with bludgeoning strikes. Before we go crazy again though, I just want to let you guys know that you should share this video if you want to show your friends that this weapon can help you up to a point when it comes to surviving the zombie apocalypse, and it doesn't cost very much to make anything like this. And obviously we could use different nails or something we can keep going. Also, please punch the living crap out of that like button because that helps. But please, please, please subscribe to Zombie Go Boom. If you enjoy what we do, that is a great way to support the show without spending any money whatsoever. Ready to go crazy again?
I'm always ready.
Let's do it. Now, another thing that's weird that we found that is actually accurate in the movie is the fact that Ivan is tearing up blood. He's crying blood because the hemorrhaging has pulled all the way to the eyeball and caused Ivan to start bleeding blood. So all of that stuff with Gogo, like crying blood, bleeding blood, is that what I said? All that stuff. So Gogo crying blood, pretty accurate, as shown by the fact that this particular Ivan head seems to have tear ducts, I guess.
Alright, I bent the nails down just a little bit so that they don't drag on the skull as they go in and out each time.
Oh man, they got aroused, I guess. We're not gonna bend them back. We're just gonna see how good of a bludgeoning weapon this is. And actually, not only will the metal here help for bludgeoning, but also the metal here will probably help for bludgeoning. But just the wood might be able to do enough damage. I guess we'll see.
I guess the nails, punctured a bunch of holes in the skull, and then the wood actually finished it off. So you can see this skull is pretty much done for. That's pretty gross. It's like a big bloody sponge.
Another thing to notice is that it's also bleeding out of the ear canal. So, I mean, this is a ridiculous amount of hemorrhaging.
Also, another thing I noticed is that the shock from the skull, hitting the skull, transferred directly back into my hands. So it's not very comfortable to use this weapon either, unless you're wearing padded gloves or something, which I am not. So just another thing to keep in mind.
Or if you further modify the handle so it's a bit more ergonomic. which you could, but since this is pine, it might have a tendency to break right there. Whatever you take off is going to make the weapon weaker.
Right. Alright, so we got a screw coming out there. The nails that have bent from the previous strikes have been pushing this wood out a little bit here and there. It's covered in blood, but other than that, it's relatively fine.
Oh fuck yeah.
Like popping a big zit.
Ew, that's disgusting. I want to try.
Kids, if you pop a zit and it looks like that, you need to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh man, that is a lot of hemorrhaging. Pretty good weapon. You said it hurt though, right? Making contact?
Well, yeah, because it's solid wood, you know, and there's no padding, nothing to absorb the shock from the weapon, you know. So yeah, it hurts. That strike particularly hurt because I put a lot of power behind it.
Yeah. And obviously it broke the jaw, and since the head was already hemorrhaging, it just allowed the blood to pool all the way down to the mandible, and you can see a piece of bone trying to come out of there. So that's teeth. That's one of the teeth right there. Spitting out teeth. That's disgusting. You want to put on some gloves and then go crazy again?
Let's do it.
Alright.
Alright, I'm gonna go crazy, but my first strike's gonna be for the occipital lobe.
The occipital bone is fine, but the weapon is completely broken and the hinge is no longer really attached to it, so yeah.
I did put on a pair of gloves, and it does seem to help a little bit.
Yeah, and you should always wear some kind of protection, even bracers. That's why we wear bracers. You never know, you know? And with zombies, bracers and gloves are great because you can always post. This weapon will not last you forever. Basically, think of this weapon as a Dead Island weapon, you know? 3 zombies, 4 zombies, and then you have to throw it away and get something else.
Ooh.
Alright, so the occipital bone is still perfectly fine, though it could cause brain damage as we saw with the Shockwatch stickers, but the weapon is so compromised and so bloody and so essentially destroyed that all of the energy that Charles is putting into the head is going back into the weapon, which is why the occipital bone isn't breaking. But just so you guys can see that this occipital bone is not made of some kind of metal like adamantium or unobtainium or, you know, whatever. We're vibranium, right? We're just gonna hit it with this hammer. Oh, yeah. So there we go. Alright, so there you go. You guys wanted to see if a weapon that's essentially wood and nails would save you during the zombie apocalypse, and with some minor modifications, it can definitely save you against 1, maybe 2 zombies, maybe 3 zombies, but after that you're totally screwed. So if it's all you have, use it. If you have something else, use that. Please share, please like by punching the like button, and please subscribe to Zombie Go Boom. If you like what you see, if you want to support us, subscribe. And you should also subscribe and make sure you subscribe. But
Subscribe.
that's right. With another mind-blowing episode from Zombie Go Boom, I'm Chuck Murray.
Charles Fultz.
And we'll see you guys next time. And I just wanted to share something real quick. It's completely irrelevant. It has nothing to do with what we're doing today. But Sophie used the potty today for the first time. She used the potty, so I'm proud of her.